But the dude comes in the cell and he's like, yo, you see this badge, man? This badge ain't shit, bro. It's just cloth. He's like, yeah, man, do something. And I get up off I put my book down, close my door, and I get up off the
Baru masuk scene kini banyak hasil show. Tulis sampai titik kira orang aku pro. Bars to bars, ku kuat bagai gelap biar main boy.
Welcome back to another episode of the W Number. Today I'm going to walk you through 10 years in solitary confinement. Why someone would go there for 10 years, what happened when I was there for 10 years, and how I felt when I got out of there after 10 years. The dynamic changes from county to state. The seriousness changes as well. So stick around. I think that this story is going to make waves. So in 2006, I got arrested and I went to county jail. I spoke about my cases in previous videos and on 23-1 lockdown, so you can go there and listen to them if you want. I'm going to stick to solitary confinement on this one. So I go 3 weeks into my incarceration. I'm unsentenced. I'm in an unsentenced block, and I see a kid who jumped me on the streets walk through the door. I was playing cards. So I told my friend who I was playing cards with and I grew up with, I told him, yo, bro, I think that's the dude who jumped me. He was like, oh man, Maddie, just fuck him, you know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm like, watch this. So I go up to my cell and I come back downstairs and the kid's on the phone. So I walk over to my friend, I tap him on the shoulder, like, watch this. And I go over to the kid while he's on the phone, I tapped him on the shoulder, and when he turned around, I backhanded him as hard as I could. And then I grabbed the phone and I started hitting him with the phone and wiping him down. I had him on the floor, just beating him up. And then the cops came running in the block. The first cop who grabbed me by my shirt and my leg, my pant leg, and just lift me up over his head and boom, slam me on a table like I was a rag doll, man. I was a young, scrawny 19. I was 19, fresh off the streets, scrawny, man. I had been drinking every day. I get to the hole. First time in solitary confinement. They put me straight in F-pod. And when you get into a fight, you go there for 10 days or 15 days. I can't remember which one at this point because it's been so long. This is in 2006. I'm in the hole and I find out that you cannot have anything but a Bible, sheets, and a blanket. You can have writing materials, which is just a pen, and then the loose sheets of paper that they'll give you when the caseworker comes around. So I'm in the hole and I'm getting accustomed to being in the hole. And I had my first encounter with the CO. Eventually had a serious issue with, and I'm going to explain that later, but you got to stick around. So he comes around and he's like banging on my door at breakfast. Now this is like 5:30 in the morning. So I'm like looking at him like, what's up, man? And he's like, let me see you throw a 1-2. And I'm like, how about not? And just let me eat my breakfast and beat it. And he's like, come on, man. He's like, I know you, but you don't know me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So is there anything that you want to talk about or something? Like, what are you here for, dude? Like, you know me, where do you know me from? He's like, at the boxing gym. So I'm like, okay, Dave's gym? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. He's like, let me see a 1-2. And I'm like, no, dude. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man. You know, I had no patience for idiots. And he was an idiot. And he was a big idiot. You know what I mean? Like a real big idiot, like a meathead. And his hands were like hams, like big old dude, Cape Verdean guy. And that was my first encounter with him. So he leaves. I end up getting out of the hole after like 10 days. I go back to Pop. I end up getting sentenced. And I get moved to a sentence unit in Barnstable County Jail. Now you hear Barnstable County Jail, it's a Cape Cod County Jail. It's kind of small. There's not a lot of people there. There's only very few really serious people there. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking everything's a joke. I don't really care about respecting people. Not a lot of kids there did that came off the streets. And I had seen people crumble in that hole. And it wasn't pretty. I'll get to that. But I get to the population unit, and I'm a sentence unit now, and I'm looking out the window one day, and you can see the hole from my block. So this kid's skywriting to me, telling me, "Yo, Maddie, come down here, bro. I haven't seen you in a long time. I want to see you, dude." And I'm like, you know what? Why not? I go down there. He's in the hole, so I get lugged. I go down to the hole. The first night in there, he talks me into having fun. He's like, "Let's just have some fun, Maddie. We'll fight the move team." And I'm like, "Fight the move team?" I'm like, "How's that fun?" And he's like, "Come on, Maddie." He's like, "We'll just fight the move team. You know what I mean? It'll be wet your feet, for the first time." I'm like, I was impressionable. I was a young kid. He was an older kid from my neighborhood, and I looked up to him in a certain type of way, even though he was a real knucklehead. I end up getting the move team to cover the windows up, and we're down there. Down there, they don't want to come in on the move team, so they're at the door trying to beg us to take the curtains down and, just trying to talk us out of it like a negotiator, dude. Like, I'm like, "No, man, get away from me, dude. Come with the move team, bro. Bring the move team." And so they get down there, bro. They gas us. First dose of chemical agent I ever had. It's not fun. Whatever, I could take it. It's nothing serious. I'm waiting in there for him to come in, and I can't really breathe well. The door opens. They come in with the shield first, and there's like a line of them, and each one of them pushes on the next man's back, so it's like a train. There's no stopping them. It's a tactical response team. That's what they call it, the TRT. They do raids on the streets and stuff like that when they're not doing asshole moves in jail. So they get in there. The first thing they do is blast me in the face, throw me on the ground, beat my ass, right? They drag me out, and they bring me to this room, and they wheel in this chair. And this chair is like this low to the ground chair. The butt of the chair is almost on the ground, and there's wheels on the bottom, and there's like straps on the side. It looks like some sort of restraint chair. I'm like, whatever, man. It didn't seem like a big deal at the time. So they put me in this restraint chair, and they got my arms, pulled back like this, and your knees. They put this a mask on me, and then they put a helmet over my head. And my head, so your head's all heavy. There's no back, there's nothing past here on the chair, so your head's just flopping around. My shoulders start burning after a couple hours, and I'm like, wow, man, are they ever gonna take me out of this thing? It felt like forever, dude. Like ages went by. They come in, and I'm like, oh, good, man, I'm getting out of this thing. And they're like, all right, it's time for your recreation. I'm like, cool. You know what they did? They loosened up the strap on my right side so I can move my arm about 6 inches back and forth. And that's my recreation. So I'm like, wow, at least it got the pain from my shoulder. So I'm moving my shoulder back and forth. And then they come in a half hour later, tighten that one back up, and then they left the left recreation for my left arm. Moving my left arm back and forth. My shoulder starts to hurt on my right side again. They strap it back tight, and I'm like, how long is this gonna be, man? They're like, didn't say nothing and just left me there. About an hour and a half later, they come in, and it's been probably a total of 3-4 hours. They come in, and then they're like, all right, get out of the chair. They take the mask off me, the helmet off me. By this time, my neck is in pain. My shoulders are in pain. Overall, it's just a bad experience, something that you never want to go through. So they let me out of the chair, and they put me back in isolation. Seg, where there's only one, you're the only person in the cell, and it's the same thing, the Bible and sheets. That's where I went the first time, the Bible and the sheets, alone in the cell. When I was fighting the team, I was in ADSEG, because when you get in trouble for anything other than a fight, you go to this place called ADSEG, and it's double cells, and you can have canteen up until you get your whole sentence, and then you go to the hole. So I go straight, they move me straight into FPOD, and I go into FPOD back into isolation, and you get an automatic 30 days for fighting the move team. Something I didn't know before I did this. So you're doing day for day in that place, day for day. So if you get in any trouble while you're in the hole, it's added on to the end, and you're doing every single day of that time. 30 days, anything can happen. So during this 30 days, I watched people torture their neighbors into total madness. People, grown men, bawling and crying and begging them to stop banging on their walls. Please stop, I'll do anything. Guys checking off because they can't take it anymore. And like young kids making just assumptions about what this person's there for just based on their looks alone. No paperwork, nothing. There's no jail etiquette. There's nothing going on there. It's just young kids with no type of schooling on prison life at all. I've watched people go mad inside that hole. After about 12 days go by, I start getting agitated, real mad all the time. The littlest thing happened, I explode. Whoa! Next thing I know, I'm fighting the move team again. 30 more days added on to my whole sentence. Now I'm marking days off on the wall because like these days drag. They go slow. And so we got these games we play at night. We start off with like a story, like one line of a story, the first sentence, and then the next person says the second, the third, and it goes around and goes around and goes around. After like a few times around, it gets crazy and people are just saying crazy things, and it's just entertainment for us. Then you could play chess on paper, you could play poker on paper, you could do all that. So we're playing games with each other and doing these story times. People are rapping and writing raps and we're listening to them rap, and I'm getting more time in the hole and more time in the hole. And as it goes on, I'm getting crazier and crazier. I'm starting to get more and more agitated and feel hopeless, like I'm never gonna get out of here, like this is never gonna end. And before you know it, I got 3 months in the hole because I fight the team again, and I'm like, yo man, this is crazy. So finally, like after 95 days or something like that, I go and I talk to the caseworker and I said, look it man, send me to another place because this is crazy. You guys are keeping me down here forever. I'm never gonna get out of the hole. And they're like, well, we can't really do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, man, well, it's kind of like one of those things where you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. It's either you act up and get sent out, or you get sent out because they feel like there's nothing they can do with you and they actually send you out. I'm not a PC, so I could be in population. I had everybody in that county respecting me. Everybody loved me. So it was like, I'm just down there simply because I can't act right. And I'm like, the time's going on, and finally I just was like, you know what? I'm going in until they send me out. So I start fighting the move team, pissing out the door until all night long, and they got me in my underwear. Like freezing cold, you could see your breath, no sheets, no blankets. It's called echo status. They take the mattress out of the room and everything. So it's close to torture. Like it is torture. It's a form of torture. So they got us in the hole in echo status. I'm peeing out the door and making, see who could make the biggest puddle, me or my friend, the kid that got me down there in the first place, because he ended up staying down there the whole time too, because he's fighting when I fight. And we got the whole points where the whole tier fights with us, you know what I mean? So there was other people down there stuck there too, and it was like a thing now, we were taking up space in the hole. They need space in the hole. So finally, boom, I get shipped to Worcester County. I'm in Worcester County now. This is like gangland. This is a whole different world from the county that I came from. I get into Worcester County, and the first thing I noticed was that all the white dudes were together, all the Spanish dudes were together, and all the black dudes were together. And it looked like, basically this was a gang, like they were in gangs. And right away I learned who was who and what was what. And so I get into a fight the first night. This dude tried to take my Reeboks, and he just asked me what size they were, and I just like, 11. and the dude's like, yeah, I'm gonna need those. And these are jail Reeboks. Now he's like desperate or something, dude, right? So I'm like, you know what, dude, fuck you. And I knocked him out, right? And one shot, that was all it was, just a hit. I hit him on the button, knocked him out, and all the black dudes came running over and the white dudes came running over, and they were like, yo, bro, because he was a black dude. And they're like, yo, man, what the heck's going on? I'm like, dude just tried to take my sneakers, bro. So I just did what I had to do. Now the white dudes were like, and the black dudes kind of were like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? The dude tried to take his sneakers. He did what he had to do. So instead of, a problem, it was just, I got respect. The dude who I knocked out, he actually shook my hand later. And it was like, you did what you had to do, blah, blah, blah. So the white dudes start recruiting me into this gang called the Hooligans. And being young and impressionable, and not really caring. I just seen like they all were unified. They were loyal to each other, it looked like, and they looked out for each other. They were deep, squad up, and they had their own table, the poker table, you know, the stores. They were moving, you know, hustling, selling drugs, shit like that. So I'm like, you know what, that's cool. I want to be in. Like, what do I got to do? So I went on probation. It's a probationary term until you put in work. It's blood in, blood out. So I had to wait until something popped off, and then I would put some work in. So like 15 days go by, something, I'm on probation, and this dude needs to get checked off the block, but he won't go. So they tell me, and it's a black dude, so they have me and a Spanish dude and a black dude all go in there and try to make the kid leave, you know what I mean? Just to show him like on all fronts the kid can't be there. Now, there was some Spanish dude was saying that he was no good, like he went to court with him and he heard something. But really, when it came down to it, the kid was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with him. The kid just didn't like him and put a jacket on him. So I kind of felt bad afterwards, but you know, this is me just doing what I'm supposed to do. So I go in there, bro. The kid doesn't want to leave, so the black kid gets up and tries to hook off on the other black kid. Now that the kid who went in there with us, the black kid who went in there with us, kind of slid to the back, didn't want no problems with this shit. So I step forward and I start blasting this dude. Now I knocked him out after about 3 or 4 shots, and I got him on the ground, and I'm just hammering him. And the Spanish kid that's with me, my boy who stayed my friend for a long time, he's stomping on his head. And we just sat there and beat him for like 5 minutes, man. And until we were out of breath, and I was covered in blood and he was covered in blood. And we left like that. We left him right slumped next to the toilet. And I go back to my cell, and I try to walk. I took my bloody t-shirt, I ripped it and flushed it down the toilet, and then I went to gym movement to get off the unit. And when I walked by his cell, when I came back, he was still laying there. So I'm like, whatever. So I go to gym. I'm there for like an hour. I had blood on my sneakers, so I'm washing the blood off my sneakers. Nothing happens. I don't get a caught for it or nothing. So I'm thinking, everything's fine, right? I come back to the block, and he's still there, dude. And I'm like, now I'm nervous. I'm scared because I'm thinking maybe he's dead, dude. You know? And so the kid, I go in, I'm in for chow until chow comes out. That's our next time the door gets cracked, is at chow. So when the doors get cracked for chow, I come out and I'm hoping I see him like moving around and stuff like that. And when I go to walk past his door, I'm looking in, and he's in the sink with a towel over his head. So I couldn't see what he looked like or anything, but he was hovered, like leaned over the sink with the towel over his head. And I'm like, whew, thank God, right? So we're all eating dinner, and the shop caller from my people went up to his cell and dragged him out of his cell and started punching him on the tier to get him off the block, which I thought was a lame move, kind of, you know what I mean, to me. And the dude turned out to be a lame, so it was a lame move by a lame dude, right? But anyways, the kid now they both get taken out, and I find out Whitey takes credit for what the kid looked like. When the kid came out, got dragged out of the cell, he looked like the Elephant Man. His head was misshapen in ways I've never seen before. And I'm not bragging about this, I'm just telling you my story, what really happened and how it happened and what was going through my head at the time. I look back on it now and I hate myself for some of these things that I did. No, it's the only thing I could have did at the time, but it is what it is, right? So they get taken off the block, and I'm there, and now I'm off probation. I'm a full-fledged member. Like a couple months go by, I'm just doing other things. I got into a couple other little fights and stuff like that. And then one night they came and searched my cell, and I had booze and a couple of knives in there and some pills, and they found them, and they take them and they put me on AA status on the unit, which means you're locked in your cell, like pending disciplinary action. It's called a waiting action status. So I'm there pending action, and a war breaks out. 26 on 6 in the yard. 26 other gang members jumped the gang that I was in. Like, it turned into a crazy melee. Like, a cop got his leg broken, and every single one of my brothers went to the hospital. And then a few other people went to the hospital. It started over, one of their dudes didn't want to go in the cell with one of my guys because he said he had a knife. So his superior told him, move on him out here because it is what it is, fuck it, move on him out here so you don't get stabbed. But the kid didn't even have a knife. He was just saying that because he was scared to go in the cell with my friend. So they do that and it turns into a mad melee and it was a war now. So I'm in my cell and I don't even know what's going on. I'm sleeping. When I wake up to people screaming, oh, you better check in. If you're a hooligan, you better check in, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I see my friends going in a line, like a single file line, all in handcuffs, getting escorted by cops into the HSU area. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I hear people yelling and stuff like that out the windows, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What's up, bro? I'm a hooligan. What's going on, dude? Like, what's going on? And the dude's like, man, your people are whack, blah, blah, blah. Like, you better check in because it's war, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, man, dude, right? So I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I had a little pang of fear. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little scared because I didn't know what to expect, and people had knives, and it was a crazy place. And so I overcame that fear by letting my anger take the best of me. And so I open my trap and I start throwing shit into my neighbor's cell, like from my cell, and like agitating him because he's part of the other team. And I told one of the white runners to go get me the mop ringer from the closet or the broomstick, and he was like, I don't want nothing to do with it. He was a lame dude, right? So I'm like, man, I'm gonna get jumped. You're not gonna help me out? Like, you're not gonna get me a weapon to protect myself? He's like, nah, man. So that night they popped the doors for AA showers. You know what, bro? It is what it is. I came out by myself, but I had seen people peg their doors so that the doors could slide open when they wanted to slide them open. I come out and I told the dudes I seen peg the door. I'm like, you pegged your door, come out, come meet me in the cell. They're yelling, get in the shower, what are you scared? I'm like, man, I ain't scared, bro, but I ain't getting in the shower with my flip-flops on. I was like, come to my cell where I could fight you like a man. And so they opened up a door on the top tier. And now the cops, I seen the cops move in the bubble from the side where we're on. It's like a bridge in the middle of 2 blocks, and they moved to the other side to look out over the other tier, like basically turning their back on me. And they knew what was going to happen. I knew what was going to happen, but I'm not going to tell them, as they already know what's going to happen. But they wanted to see the drama, you know, whatever. So, and I'm just going to have to ride. I'm going to have to take the ride. You know what I mean? So the dude who they popped was the shot caller for the other team on the unit, right? He comes down the tier and he puts his stuff on the table, and he shakes the knife beside his leg. And I'm like, what's up, bro? You gonna pull a knife? Come in my cell with that, you fucking bitch. I slid through past him to go into my cell and tried to like dodge the knife, but he slit me across the ribs, and he pushed me, so I fell onto my bed. And when I fell onto my bed, he pulled me forward and stabbed me in the back. And the knife went all the way to the hilt, hit my rib bone, and bent up into my back. And that saved my life because the knife was now bent to the side, and he didn't notice it, and I didn't notice it. But I sprang up after that hit, and I hit him, bam, bam, with a 2-piece as hard as I could. And the dude just went, you know, just like shrugged it off. And I was so shocked that he didn't get knocked out that I was like, damn. I just stopped punching him. And he charged me, got his head up into my midsection and pinned me up against the wall, and my left foot's up off the floor. So he's starting to stab me in my ribs like this. But the knife's going in and then popping out over here through my shirt. Like it's going like that. Like it's not even hitting, going in my skin. It's just popping out the back of my shirt like that. And scraping along my ribs, and it's digging me out, but it's not going through me and into me, straight into me. So I'm thinking I'm getting stabbed because there's blood all like this, and I didn't notice the knife was bent, and I'm hitting him like this, boom, 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 and I'm hitting him like this, trying to get him off me. My cellmate, coward ass, was standing there the whole time, just looking, freezing up. And I you know what, after I realized he was just doing this, so I stopped punching this kid, and I'm like, yo, really, bro? And he snapped out of it, jumped on the kid's back, and fell backwards. And then the dude flipped on him and stabbed him in the face. So when that happened, I got free, and I came in with a sweeping punch. I hit him right in the chin like this and knocked him out. And I went to go kick him, but this big CO Tao came in, grabbed me, and boom, threw me on the bed. And I'm like, damn, bro, like this dude straight ragdolled me. This is a recurring thing probably with the cops, but it didn't click at the time. But yeah, the dude ragdolled me, right? So I'm on the bed, I'm kind of laughing because of what happened with the CO. So the kid, my cellie's like this, man, did you see what I doing? I'm like, yeah, man, did you see what happened? So he's bleeding from his face. I'm bleeding all over the place, right? And the kid's getting dragged out of there. They left me and my cellie in the cell. They take that kid out. And I'm like, wow, they're just gonna leave us here, dude, right? And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, man, you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna say nothing, but I was hoping that at least I'd get a break to go to the hole for a couple minutes to get away from this madness, dude. You know what I mean? But they came back and they ended up grabbing my cellie and leaving me. So then they come back a little bit and grab me. And you know, it turns out they were just waiting and making moves in the hole to make space for us. So they get me down to medical. They try to give me medical care. I refuse all care, refuse to take pictures because that's what you're supposed to do, bro, because anything else is like telling. And so they get me in, they put me in segregation. And for the first week, I was stuck to my mattress every morning. When I woke up, it was like my back was bleeding from the wound, and it would just dry onto the mattress before I woke up, and I'd have to peel myself away from the mattress. And my back was just a big bruise from the top to the bottom, just black and blue from that one puncture hole. And there was like cuts all along my chest and on my ribs and shit like that. And my cellmates crying like a little, trying to talk me into going to PC and shit. And I'm like, man up, bro, because you're ruining my whole mood, right? Like it's just killing everything, dude. Like stop talking about this. It's not gonna happen. We're not doing it, bro. And so we're coming out segregated by race, and they got the white dudes with the white dudes, the Spanish dudes with the Spanish dudes, and the black dudes with the black dudes. It was all me, mugs, and cold stares. They eventually ended up classing me to the hole on SDG status due to that gang war, along with a bunch of other dudes. Anybody who was involved in gang fights and gang retaliation, things like that, they classed them to the hole on SDG status. And then like 30 days into that, boom, the feds put a cap on the jail, and they start busing 100 people out every single day and took everybody who was a transfer from another county and shipped them back to their counties or to another place, I don't know. But they put me on a bus and sent me back to my county with 100 guys from that jail. When I get there, I'm with a bunch of guys that were on the block with me, but none of the dudes that were involved in anything to do with me. We were all cool. They had known what I went through, and they respected me. They showed me love and shit like that. When we get into the building, they put me straight in isolation again because I came from the hole. They put me straight back in the hole, and I'm like, damn, man, I can't win. So they keep me in the hole for about 7 days, and then they move me to AdSeg. And they tell me because I have SDG now, because of that gang stuff up there, that I'm classed to the hole down here. And I'm like, really, dude? Like, why? Every other jail you go to, they don't care about the SDG. But in Plymouth and Barnstable County, you're classed to that hole if you're SDG. So after about 30 days of that, they come down and they bring me out, and they're like, man, we're gonna let you go to population. We're gonna give you a chance to go to population, but if you get caught recruiting, or if you get in any tickets or anything like that, we're gonna put you in the hole for the rest of your sentence. And I'm like, wow, thanks for the opportunity. So I go back to Pop, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm just gonna try to be as good as I can for as long as I can. You know, I know something's gonna pop off eventually. So I'm on the block with all these dudes that came with me and a bunch of the guys that were already there in the county. When I walked through the door, none of the dudes knew that this was my county. So they were like, yo, Maddie, it's not like that here. You could just chill and shit like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know, I've been here before. And so I'm chilling. I get in the cell with a runner, and the dude's out cleaning the tier one night, and I'm sitting on the trash can watching the TV, and the cop pops my door. It's the same cop I had that interaction with when I first got locked up, like in the hole that night. He cracks my door. And so he's not looking at me, and I don't know what all the other runners' cellies were watching TV still. So I just pushed the door back open because it was like a neutral door. It pops to neutral, and then you can slide it closed or open. So I pop it back open, and I'm sitting there watching. A couple of minutes later, boom, again. So I look down at him and he's like, yo, lock in. And I'm like, lock in for what? And he's like, because I said so. And I'm like, yo, you're a fucking clown, dude, right? And I slammed the door like 4 or 5 times, like, and I'm pissed, right? Because this dude's like, what does he think? I'm a punk, bro? He's picking on me. And I'd seen them doing it to other people in the jail. Like, these cops come in and they think they're wicked tough, so they start drama with them just to get their rocks off. And I'm like, I'm not the one, buddy. I'm not taking that, dude. Like, I see these other kids taking it, I ain't taking it, bro. Like, I'm not the one, bro. I'm a good dude. Don't fuck with me, bro. I'm not fucking with you. Don't fuck with me. But sure enough, the dude, I come over, when I called him a clown and had the door finally shut, he pops the door again, so it opens. So I walk to the door and I look out and I see him walking up the stairs. So I'm like, here we go with this, man, right? So I go over to my bed and I sit on my bed and I put my foot up on the stool and I open a book and I'm reading this book and I'm just gonna, I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm just gonna continue reading this book and hope that this fucking dude doesn't push me to the limit, bro, because I don't want to get more time on my sentence and it's just not worth it to me, right? But the dude comes in the cell and he's like, yo, you see this badge, man? This badge ain't shit, bro. It's just cloth. And I'm like, bro, it's a badge? He's like, yeah, man, do something. And I get up I put my book down, close my book, and I get up off the bed. I get up in his face and I'm like, yo, bro, you got a badge. You came in my cell. You do something or get the fuck out of my cell, dude. Right? And he's like, yeah, that's what I fucking thought, right? And walks out. And I'm standing there like in shock. Like, I'm like, this dude really wants a problem, right? So he's gonna force it. I'm in my head like, now I'm like thinking I'm gonna smash this dude, bro. Yeah, I went from not wanting to do it, now I'm like, yo, I'm gonna beat this dude's ass. And so he goes down to the desk and he pops the door, to lock it and stuff like that. So he's like, I'm like, so I told him before I close, I'm like, nah, you're gonna lock me in for rec? And he's like, nah, I'm gonna lock you in for rec. And so I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. So I close the door. On his next round, right before rec comes out, he comes to my door and he's like, yo, Matt, he's like, let me ask you something. He's like, why didn't you do something? And I'm like, because you're so big and tough and scary. I don't want any problems, bro. And he's like, oh yeah, no, but seriously, he's like, why didn't you do something? I'm like, bro, because you're so scary. I don't want any problems with you. Is that good, bro? I was like, leave me the fuck alone, dude. For real, leave me alone. I'm not playing with you. And he's like, you didn't want the bang, bang, boom. My word as a man, he said that. He's like, I know why you didn't do something. He's like, you didn't want the bang, bang, boom. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. The bang, bang, boom I just didn't want it. And he's like, yeah, I know. So I'm like, dude, right? So he leaves and goes downstairs, dude, right? And then the doors get cracked for rec. So I come out and I go down to the little table next to where the desk is and there's my friends are sitting there and I tell them, yo, man, I'm gonna beat this dude's ass. He's pushing my buttons to the point where I'm gonna have to beat his ass. And so they're like, nah, Maddie, man. Now they had never seen anything like that down there and they're used to seeing the cops act like assholes. So they're like, just leave him alone, man, Maddie. Just go out in the rec deck, get some fresh air, walk around and try not to think about it. So I'm like, you know what? I actually took their advice. I went out to the rec deck and I'm walking around with this kid, Christopher Claudio, and I'm venting to him like, yo, man, this fucking dude, bro, right? And I'm walking around the rec deck and every time I walk past the glass window part, he's looking over and smiling and nodding at me and winking and shit, right? And I'm like, you know what, Chris, bro, I'm done, bro. I'm going. I'm getting this dude, bro, right? So I press the button to get off the rec deck. He's like, Maddie, don't do it, bro. Maddie, don't do it. So the dude comes on the little intercom thing and he's like, yo, he's like, me and you taught him in the cleaning closet. And he thinks it's funny, dude, like I'm gonna punk out. So I'm like, okay, open the door. And he cracks the rec deck door open. So I walk up to the desk and I'm like, yo, bro, let's go to the cleaning closet. He walks around the desk and flips his hand in my face, like, get the fuck out of my face. I'm like, for real, bro? And he walks around back to the desk and he goes to press a button like he's gonna pop my door and tell me to lock in. So I grabbed the computer and I smashed it off the back wall. And I put my hand in his chest like that. And I was like, go ahead and apply pressure, bro. Apply pressure. And he cocks back to swing like that, and I hit him with a rocket. Boom, right in the chin. Almost knocked him out on the first shot. He fell backwards, hit the slop sink, and bounced off of it with a big haymaker. Trying to hit me, I went right underneath it. Boom, hit him with another rocket right on the chin. Boom. Now he stumbles to the side, bounces off the Sally Port door with his shoulder, and then falls like this straight into another one, and I hit him right on the chin, bro. His jaw came right off, crack, and you could see like the side right here where his bone was popping, and his jaw came off the hinges. I knocked him out. Boom, he hits the ground, and he's on his knees, but he got knocked out backwards like that. So like he didn't fall face first, he fell on his knees and went back like that, and because of that he busted his knee on the ground. So I thought you were a big tough guy, dude, right? And I smacked him in the face with the left hand real hard. Boom, he wakes up and he falls forward and goes to press his button. So I hit him with a left hook in the mouth real hard, and he fell, bang. I knocked him out, I think, again, and the button hit the ground when he fell and bounced off his shirt. So it went underneath the table where we eat chow, and he didn't get to press it yet. So he pops up and grabs my shirt like that, and I hit him with a two-piece ripped right out of my shirt. I'm hitting him, boom, 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 and I have no shirt on. He's much bigger than me, so I'm not trying to get hit by him, and I'm not trying to let him get the control of my body either, so I'm hitting him, boom, 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 boom. I must have hit him like 30 times, just light and bang, bang, and every time I give him a little flurry, I back up a little bit, and he swings, and then I go under, hit him with a flurry, back up a little bit, and I lost ground. So behind me, there's a rec deck door and a table on the left and a table on the right, and I'm looking for a place to go, and I can't fucking find it. So I look a little bit to the left, and he hits me with a shot behind the ear. It's a flash knockout. I hit the ground, and when I come up, he's standing over me. So I looked at him and I smiled, and I kicked him in the balls as hard as I could. And he caught he's like, oh, now blood came flying all over my face. He spit at me. He caught my foot in between his leg, and I just let him have it, dude, right? I was done because I had wiped him down bad. And he pulled me out to the middle of the tier and just fell on me as hard as he could and just holding me for dear life. And I could see his eyes were like that, dude. He was scared. And I told him, bro, you shouldn't have fucked with me, bro. I told you not to fuck with me, bro. I wasn't the one. And he couldn't talk. So I don't know what he's saying. And I'm like, what? I can't understand you, bro. And he, so the cops all get in there, dude, right? Turns out his button was registered to a different unit, and after I knocked him out and the button fell on the table, I kind of skipped a little part by accident. When I hit him and the button fell onto the table, and I smacked him again, woke him up a little, and he crawled real quick, hit the button, and then he jumped up and grabbed my shirt like this. So he got to press the button after that second time I hit him, and they came and they went to the wrong unit because his button was registered to another unit. They got locked in the Sally Port all the way to every unit in the hallway, thinking it's a false alarm, until they got to our unit, and then there was nobody there to open up the door, so they got locked in the Sally Port, and they had to call Central and have them open up the door for them. And so then they finally get in there, and all they see is him on top of me, holding me like that. And they all get on me. They're just, they're cuffing me up, but it's not, I could tell they didn't really understand what happened yet. And then the captain looked over at him, and I could tell, like, I wasn't looking at the time because I was face first on the ground, and they were cuffing me up, but I could tell, like, he said, oh, he's like, whoa, did he assault you? And he's like, and then I hear him talking on the radio, and then all of a sudden, boom, I start getting kneed and punched and kicked, and it was on, right? So they picked me up, they had me hogtied, hands behind my back, and then shackles on my legs, and then they put a shackle from my handcuffs to my legs and held me like a suitcase like this. And they had like 6 or 7 cops, and they were holding me, and they were smacking me into the doors, every door on the way to the hole. Boom, boom. And so I get to the hole. They bring me to the door of my cell, and then they swing me back like this and throw me. And I land on my stomach on the bed, and my bare skin hits the metal, and I'm on the bed, and they closed the door and left me in my handcuffs and shackles with the hog tie like that. And the cuffs were so tight, I couldn't even feel my hands. So I'm like, damn, man, I'm not feeling too good about it. And I don't know what to do. You know, it's one of those situations where there's nothing you can do. You just got to eat it. You know what I mean? But I'm in the hole now. They come in eventually and they take me out of the handcuffs and shackles, and they got me in there in my underwear. Now, 3 weeks goes by like this. Freezing cold in my underwear, no sheets, no blankets, no mattress. I'm trying to get them to stop at my door when they come do their rounds with the administration. They won't stop at my door. So I'm like, yo, man, eventually you're gonna have to stop and talk to me, right? They got me in there with nothing, and the cops are putting my tray on the middle of the table when they come in for chow, feeding everybody, and then bringing me my tray, like, here's your tray, Mr. Tottenham. And I'm like, you know what, dude? I kept on kicking it off the fucking thing, so I wasn't eating, and I was freezing and not able to sleep well. And so finally, I waited for him to come around. Now, my mom cut the captain's hair there. So I'm trying to get him to the door so I could play that card. Like, my mom cuts your hair, motherfucker. You're gonna leave me here like this? So I wait and I hide underneath the window so it looks like no one's in the cell. So when he comes by, he stops. And I'm like, okay. I get him to stop and look in. And so I pop up and I'm like, yo, if you don't send me out of this fucking county, I'm gonna call a lawyer tomorrow. And he was like, looked at me, just nodded and left. Next morning, boom, they shipped me to Bristol County. I get to Bristol County and it's a shithole. They walk me down through booking and all that stuff, and I get to a unit and they put me straight in isolation. I go into isolation, I'm in there by myself. I walk into a cell that's covered in demon artwork. Like, there's demons drawn all over the doors, the walls, and there's a Ouija board drawn on the desk. It's all great artwork. It's awesome artwork, but it's all evil demon stuff, right? And I'm like, wow, dude, this is bad, man, you know? And all around me, I could hear people screaming and yelling and shit. And I'm like, yo, this kid calls down in the vent to me, and he's like, yo, Matt, he's like, yo, you don't want to be in this jail, bro. It's dangerous here and all this nonsense. And he's like, you better off just staying in the hole. I'm like, yo, bro, I'll take my chances, dude, right? And I end up telling this dude to beat it, right? And they're fighting the move team twice a week down there, dude, right? So they kept on breaking, this dude and this other kid kept on breaking the back windows out and then the front windows and the lights off and taking the cells offline so that they couldn't use the cell. And they were just in the hole, living in the hole for so long. And I'm like, fuck that, dude. I'm going to Pop. So they put me out in Pop. I'm out there for a while. I'm doing good and shit like that. And then they changed the administration over and started giving people loss of everything for an indeterminate time if you got 3 tickets for any reason. So I get the 3 tickets fairly quickly after they start this stupid nonsense. So I lose everything, my visits, my canteen, my phone for the rest of my sentence. And I'm like, fuck that, dude, right? So I start beating dudes up. And it wasn't, I kept on going to the hole coming out, but there was nothing really happening. They didn't really care. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna beat up a gang member and get jumped. Why not, right? So I end up doing it, beating up a gang, no one jumps me, right? So I beat up another one. And then I beat up another one. And finally, they got me in the hole, and they're like, yo, Matt, what can we do, Mr. Tottenham? What can we do to stop you? I said, next time, I'm going to move on one of your staff members if you don't get me the fuck out of this shithole. And so he's like, just give us a day, and we'll find you a new home. So one day goes by, and then the morning after that, they move me to booking, and they tell me I'm good. They found me a new home, right? I don't know where I'm going yet, but I'm thinking hopefully it's South Bay, because I heard good things, even though it's wild there. I heard they have TVs in the cells, and I didn't really care about the wildness. I like the bullshit, so I was like, yeah, send me there, man. I want to go to wherever is gonna be cool. Like I want to be in the toughest place. I want to be the toughest dude there, you know. And that's just my mindset. They get me in the van and they're driving me all the way up, and I see this big ass building, bro. This big ass building. And I'm like, what the fuck is this place? And they're like, it's called the Souza Baranowski. And I'm like, a Souza Baranowski? What the hell is that? I'm like, are we still in Massachusetts? Because we had been driving for hours, like through a freaking apple orchard. We were lost, like in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, dude, I thought we were out of state. They shipped me out of state. And I'm like, man, where the heck are we? And he's like, it's just Souza Baranowski. So I get in through, like, this huge building, dude, 5 floors, and it looks like it's so sorry. There's not 5 floors. There's yeah, there's 5. It looks like 5 floors. There's 5 sets of windows all the way up, and it's really 3 units stacked on top of each other. So it's a big building, and there's 2 fences with like 12 rows of barbed wire, razor wire on it. I'm like, wow, this place looks like a fortress, dude. I'm like, what is this place? So I get inside and I asked the CEO at the thing, I'm like, what is this place? And he's like, it's called Shirley Max. Stay tuned, because the next video, I'm gonna tell you all about what it's like to be in segregation in the Max in DDU, and what happened and how I ended up spending 10 years in isolation.
The next video is going to speak on self-harm, suicidal tendencies, and effects of long-term isolation in maximum security